Welcome to Fields of Dreams. In this video, we are highlighting the 1960s team of the decade, one of my favorite eras. This is a better way to allow each player to shine throughout baseball history, rather than the all-century team that left off many great players. In the future, we hope Major League Baseball can retroactively officially name their teams of the decade, like the National Football League does. We highlight the Hall of Fame talent that appeared at each position. At leadoff, we have second baseman Pete Rose, who played 7 seasons in the 1960s. Pete played over 600 games at second base. In the 1960s, Pete Rose, or Charlie Hustle, won Rookie of the Year in 1963. He was an All-Star 4 years and won 2 batting crowns in the decade. In his career, Rose had more hits, games, and at-bats than any Major League Baseball player. Pete also would be more of a force in the 1970s, engineering the Big Red Machine. Next, we have Roberto Clemente, right fielder of the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the 1960s, Clemente was an All-Star 9 seasons and a Gold Glove winner 9 seasons. And the year he wasn't an All-Star, he led the league in WAR. Clemente won 4 batting crowns in the 60s. Clemente helped the Pirates win the World Series in 1960 and was the National League MVP in 1966. In his career, Clemente had 3,000 hits and was a 12-time Gold Glove winner and a 15-time All-Star. The Great One made a huge impact on the game internationally and was truly missed globally. Batting third is the center fielder Willie Mays of the San Francisco Giants. In the decade, Mays had the highest wins above replacement. He was an All-Star each year and won 9 Gold Gloves in the 1960s. Mays won his second MVP in 1965 and could have won 3 more. Even though he played his home games in Candlestick, Mays led the league in home runs for 3 seasons. In his career, Mays had 660 home runs, 3,293 hits, 24 All-Star appearances, and 12 Gold Gloves. He was arguably the greatest player to play the game when considering his 5 tools. At designated hitter, we have Frank Robinson, who spent time with the Reds and the Orioles as an outfielder in the 1960s. Robinson was an All-Star 6 seasons in the decade. He won his first MVP in 1961 with the Reds. In 1966, he won his second MVP and the Triple Crown in the National League. This same year, he led the Orioles to a World Series title. He was also World Series MVP that same season. In his career, Robinson had 586 home runs, 2,943 hits, and a .294 career batting average. He probably would have even higher numbers if he wasn't trying to be a player manager. In left field, we have Carl Yastrzemski of the Boston Red Sox. In the 1960s, Yastrzemski was an All-Star 6 seasons, also winning 5 Gold Gloves. In 1967, he won the MVP as well as winning the Triple Crown in the American League. In his career, Yastrzemski had 3,419 hits, 452 home runs, and was a 3-time batting champion. He did an amazing job carrying the torch in left field after Ted Williams retired. At first base, we have Willie McCovey of the San Francisco Giants. This is close because of Harmon Killebrew, who was his counterpart in the American League, who we will bring up later. McCovey does have a slightly higher WAR and batting average, so it's not that far of a stretch. In the 1960s, McCovey was an All-Star 4 seasons and won the National League MVP in 1969, the same as his counterpart. For his career, McCovey hit 521 home runs and was a 6-time All-Star. At third base, we have Brooks Robinson, who is probably the greatest defensive third baseman to ever play. In the decade, Robinson, the human vacuum cleaner, was an All-Star and Gold Glove winner each season of the 1960s. He won the MVP in 1964 and helped the Orioles win their World Series in 1966. He led the league in games played in 5 seasons. For his career, Robinson was a 16-time Gold Glove winner and an 18-time All-Star in the American League. He amassed 2,848 hits and won 2 World Series. At catcher, we have Elston Howard of the New York Yankees. In the 1960s, Howard was an All-Star for 6 seasons, playing in 9 All-Star games due to the doubleheaders. He was platooned early on in his career because Yogi was the main catcher for the Yankees. Although 1961 was his best season, Howard won the MVP in 1963. He won 2 Gold Gloves. In his career, Howard won 4 World Series. He was a 12-time All-Star and should be reconsidered for the Hall of Fame due to his missing time due to the Korean conflict and baseball segregation policy. His overall numbers don't reflect what would have been. At shortstop, we have Luis Aparicio of the White Sox and Orioles. In the 1960s, Aparicio won 6 Gold Gloves and was a 5-time All-Star. He led the league in stolen bases 5 times in the 1960s and 9 times overall. In his career, Aparicio was a 13-time All-Star and a 9-time Gold Glove winner. He had over 2,600 hits and 500 stolen bases. He was one of the greatest defensive shortstops until Ozzie Smith came around. Our utility player is Harmon Killebrew of the 1960s of the Minnesota Twins. In the decade, Killebrew led the American League in home runs for 5 seasons, and he was an 8-time All-Star. He won the American League MVP in 1969. For his career, Killebrew hit 573 home runs and was a 13-time All-Star. He was a part of those great Twins teams of the late 60s. The first pitcher on the 60s decade team is Bob Gibson of the Cardinals. In the 1960s, Gibson was an All-Star 6 seasons and a Gold Glove winner 5 times. In 1968, Gibson won an MVP and Cy Young Award. He was the ace that led the Cardinals to 2 World Series championships, in which he was the MVP of both the 64 and 67 series. For his career, Gibson won over 250 games with an ERA under 3, with over 3,000 strikeouts. He was a 9-time All-Star and 9-time Gold Glover as a pitcher. The second pitcher on the 60s decade team is Sandy Koufax of the Dodgers. In the 1960s, Koufax was an All-Star 6 seasons and won the ERA title 5 straight times. In 1963, Koufax won an MVP and Cy Young Award. Koufax won the Cy Young 3 times in the 1960s. He was the ace that led the Dodgers to 2 World Series championships, in which he was the MVP of both the 63 and 65 series. For his career, Koufax won 4 World Series, led the National League in strikeouts 4 seasons, and won 3 Triple Crowns as a pitcher. His career was cut short due to an arm injury. Can you imagine what he would have done if he pitched during the year of the pitcher in '68? Our third pitcher of the 1960s is Juan Marichal of the Giants. Juan Marichal had the highest WAR among pitchers in the 1960s with a 55.3 WAR. In the decade, he was an 8-time All-Star and reached 20 victories in 6 different seasons. In his career, Marichal won over 240 games with an ERA under 3 with over 2,300 strikeouts. The player with the highest WAR for the decade was Willie Mays, with 84.2. He led the National League in WAR 6 of the 10 seasons. WAR is an objective measure of the kind of player he was without opinion. It doesn't tell the whole story, but it shows Mays' ability to help his team win more than any other player this decade. Coming in a close second is Hank Aaron, with an 81 WAR in the 1960s. He actually has higher offensive numbers than Mays this decade, but Mays' defense and offense puts him narrowly over the top. The player of the decade is Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid. During the 1960s, Mays won an MVP in 1965 and could have won the award in '60, '62, and '64. Especially in 1962, when Mays led the Giants to first place and a World Series appearance. Mays' stolen bases, gold gloves, and hitting separated him from others. And I think Sporting News had it right when they named Mays the player of the 1960s. In summary, an exciting decade of the 1960s. Too many great overall ball players on this team. Clemente, Mays, Rose, Yaz have over 3,000 hits, which includes the player with the most hits. Players with over 500 home runs, being Mays, Robinson, Killebrew, and McCovey. This outfield had great defense, being Mays, Yaz, and Clemente, who won several Gold Gloves. Hard to find a trio of pitchers that were tougher than Koufax, Gibson, and Marichal, even though there were also others from this era that didn't make the cut. Overall, probably the best team when considering offense, defense, and pitching.